Hey patrons, it's me and Peachy. We're finally at a long-awaited Getting Hammered series of Peachy teaching me Warhammer. That's not getting drunk. No one's getting drunk. But
getting drunk on lore.
We're getting drunk on knowledge, on lore.
Knowledge!
And lore and excitement. I'm excited. I've been waiting for this. I know you guys have been too. Thank you for being so patient. And take it away, Peachy.
Okay, not to steal from Adeptus Ridiculous, but did I tell you what today's episode is about?
No.
Okay, where... Okay, so it's about Warhammer, but it's specifically about Space Marines, the armored
so you want me to mention the Space Marines?
Huh?
Do you want me to mention the Space Marines?
How much do you know about Space Marines?
I don't know anything about Space Marines.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me set you up for Warhammer. There is a great quote that is just absurd and dark and ridiculous all at the same time. It is the quote. To preface
this, I don't know much about Warhammer lore whatsoever. So we tried this before, but I can assure you guys I don't retain anything.
Well, I think I told you about the Primarchs and some of the different chapters.
And the Birdmen.
The Birdman, Fulgrim, yeah.
Yes. I remember the Birdman.
I looked into the bird thing. I'm not sure where it's coming from. It's just specific for the book Fulgrim.
Yeah. The man likes his birds.
He doesn't, though. He was, man. Do
you
know what? We're already getting off topic.
No. All right. No birds.
We'll get to Primarchs and all that. Let me set the scene. So this is the quote of Warhammer. It is the 41st millennium. So that's 41,000, right?
Okay.
Super far in the future. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor of Mankind has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the vast imperium of man, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. Yet...
Oh, so he's immortal?
Kind of. That is outside of the scope of this, but he is he's kind of undead. He's dead, but he's also not dead. He's what they call a perpetual, which is kind of like immortality in this world.
But instead of immortality, they could still decompose and shit. Is that kind of?
Yes, it's purposely vague. Because sometimes perpetual means if they die, they'll be reborn.
Okay.
Sometimes it means you just can't kill them and they will still stay alive.
That sucks.
Well, no, because being alive means having all of you. Like, for instance, there is a character called Vulcan who was chopped into thousands of pieces. And once they find all the pieces and put him together, he will be alive again.
Like a puzzle.
Like a very gruesome puzzle.
That's cute.
Cute, yes. Yet, even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his eternal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the demon-infested miasma of the Warp, the only route between distant stars. This is how they do faster than light travel. They go into the Warp, which is a demon hellhole alternate dimension type thing. The only route between distant stars. Their ways lit by the Astronomicon, the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will. Vast armies give battle to his name on uncounted worlds. Greatest among his soldiers are the Adeptus Astartes. These are the Space Marines. Bioengineered super warriors. Their comrades in arms are Legion, the Imperial Guard, which is general soldiers.
Okay.
Planetary defense forces, which are like planetary, sort of a level up from police. It's, more militaristic.
Okay. So like the military?
Well, the Guard would be the military of everything.
Okay.
And the PDF, the Planetary Defense Force, are like a military of a planet.
Okay.
But
So they're like Coast Guards.
Yeah, I suppose they are kind of Coast Guards. No,
Okay.
no, that works. That works.
Oh yeah, okay. They're
In
like
a
Coast Guards.
strange-
Okay, I get it.
In a strange way. The ever-vigilant Inquisition. The tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, to name only a few. But for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat to humanity from aliens, heretics, mutants, and far, far worse. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of these
For humans?
Huh?
For humans?
Well, so in Warhammer, humans are the protagonists. So...
Okay. I thought there wasn't a protagonist in...
There are no good guys.
There's no good guys. Okay.
Yes. Like, you can find good, honor, justice in everything. But on the flip side, you can find all the bad stuff in the same thing. Everyone is the bad guy. And that's how, like, people fight. Because, yeah, I'm bad, but you're worse. For these reasons, etc.
I'm not as bad as those guys over there.
Yes. Justify that.
Okay, that makes sense.
These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grimdark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods. Welcome to Warhammer 40k. Everything sucks and it's awesome.
What are the gods thirsty for?
Souls.
Oh, okay. Naturally.
Yes. So the
Soul
chaos,
hungry, power hungry gods.
the chaos gods feed on souls essentially, and thoughts and feelings, and manifest in certain ways. There are different gods. There are 4 of them, chaos gods. But you know, let's not confuse you right now. We're just talking about the Adeptus Astartes, the bioengineered super warriors. These are far
They're the guys
above.
in their suits of armor, right? Whoa! Why are there so many?
There are so many. But like I said, billions of worlds, each with billions
Like
of
Skittles. You could taste the
people.
rainbow, baby.
They do have a lot of differing colors. Some of them have the same colors. Before I get into how you get a Space Marine, there are 10... Let's not confuse it. There are 10 chapters, main chapters of Space Marines. But underneath those, because of the rules that were put in place by Rabute Gilliman, or Roberto Girlyman, Robot... You can go with any of these. People like to meme on him. There can only be 1,000 in a chapter, so there are 10 loyalist chapters, and every other chapter can be a spin-off of one of these. So there can only be 1,000. Some people break the rules, but there can only be 1,000 in a chapter.
Yeah, the image I'm looking at says 1,000 chapters.
I mean, yeah, we, like, in the lore, we've heard about, I don't know, maybe 370 of them, so... You can make your own. This is all about creativity. It's like giving you a base.
It's just a ballpark figure for 1,000.
Yeah, well, Warhammer used to be more of a sandbox.
Right.
But in more recent years, they've actually progressed story and stuff, which is, for me, I think that's really cool. That's great.
I'm really excited to learn more about it.
So, those Space Marines you see are bio-enhanced super soldiers who are indoctrinated child soldiers. Okay. They are taken...
Wait.
Yes. I wondered if you'd hear that.
I just said okay to, like, they're indoctrinated child soldiers. Oh, naturally. All in a day.
Yeah.
But I guess in Warhammer, that's all in a day.
So, they, Space Marines specifically, we're not talking about Adeptus Custodes, those are different. All the new information we've got about a female Adeptus Custodes, those are different, but they are genetically enhanced super soldiers. But those are, we're not doing them. Those are different. We can go into those another time if you want. But between the age of 10 and 14, before they start hitting puberty, maturity, anything like that, they are taken.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Very Da Vinci.
Yes. Purposely so. So, oh no, I don't want that. I want...
Is there a lot of influence from, like, classical art?
Warhammer is a mishmash of every pop culture, every political ideal.
Yeah.
Everything goes into this. It is satire of the highest degree because it is pure absurdity.
It sounds like there might be, like, cosmic horror elements too, right? From, like, just the chaos gods alone.
I don't know what cosmic core is.
Like Lovecraftian.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure. There's some Lovecraftian stuff in there, definitely.
Okay. I'm picking up on that.
Okay, so there are some vague differences between all the different chapters, because some of them have mutations to their gene seed, which is basically what you use to make a space marine. Some people call it the space marine cum. It's not. It's an organ.
Okay.
Right, they are taken at between 10 and 14, and in those years, they have a couple of implants given to them. The first one is always a secondary heart. So, all Space Marines have 2 hearts. I'm sure you can understand why that might be a benefit to someone. They also, so as this is going out, they are pumped full of hormones and space drugs and space magic things. Right. Nobody knows how technology works in Warhammer 40k. It's actually quite mystical and seems like magic. The people who control or know how technology works are more like a religious cult. And they worship machines. And they will say prayers for machines, and they will go through the holy acts of doing things, like they will spray incense and they will enact rites. What they're doing is turning it on and off again and stuff, but they don't understand that. Do you know what I mean? You know, like fixing a typo. You go in, you click the button, you delete it, it fixes the typo. Imagine that in code. I just got the vision of someone
praying to their computer, then just turning it off and on again every time something goes wrong.
Yes, that would be like a specific prayer and stuff. They do not understand how technology works.
Okay.
Yeah, everything.
It's pretty good.
They are so far in the future, but they don't have iPhones. Like they have devices to talk to each other and see each other, but they're like really bad quality. Really, yeah. The connection is terrible. It sounds awful because all this technology is at least 10,000 years old, maybe more. Nothing new is allowed to be invented. So all this bioengineering they're doing, they're
like very much living in the past.
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. It's it is considered tech heresy, to invent things.
Interesting.
Now there's wiggle room in there somewhere. That's what makes it interesting.
So they can't improve upon anything that already exists.
No, because they worship the machine god, the Omnissiah.
Okay.
Which is said to be an aspect of the Emperor. So they worship the Emperor, and that's why they're allowed to exist. They're allowed to exist because they make all the guns. But I digress. So if you try and improve on technology, that's you saying you are better than literal God, which they all worship, right?
Okay, so you can't... Okay, that makes... I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, you can't... Like, you're trying to... Like, that's trying to, like... Yeah, I guess that's a form of arrogance. or
Yeah,
like or
to this
or folly
religion.
of hubris. If
Yeah.
you can think that you could do better than a god, false idolization.
Yeah, they what they say is that all technology already exists. It was made by the god, the Omnissiah, the machine god, and they can find stuff, and they can iterate on things they already know, but pure invention is considered heresy. And heresy is really bad for the Imperium Man. You just get murdered for anything that is outside the realm of worshipping the God Emperor, right?
Okay.
Okay, it's bad.
It's really bad. You just get murdered.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Like,
no, it's fair. That's very fair.
Imagine hyper indoctrinated super Catholics.
Okay.
And anything anything out of that scope is heresy, and if you're a heretic, you don't deserve life. I mean, people, your standard person barely deserves life. Each singular person means nothing in Warhammer 40k. Anything they do means nothing, save for a few that are prominent, let's say.
So that's interesting then. Okay.
So, you might even find worlds being these medieval, like, technology, like living in straw huts and stuff. But they all know of the Imperium. They all know of God, the God Emperor of mankind. And these children can be taken from any of these places, depending on where different chapters get their people from. And that's a big honor, because they know of the Space Marines. They'll never see one in their life. But if your child gets taken to become a Space Marine, you'll never see him again. You'll never know if he's alive or dead. And he will outlive you, because he is a bioengineered super soldier. But that is a great honor. So, the first thing they get is the heart. They get a second heart.
Where do they put... Where do you fit a second heart?
In the chest. Now, they are pumping them full of all these growth hormones and crazy drugs.
I knew you were going to go there with, like, in the chest, but, like, it just was in the chest.
Yeah. No, it's right next to the other heart. So if their heart fails... I mean, their heart is strengthened. It's not like a normal...
So it's like a
heart.
backup?
Yes, it's a backup. It can also...
Same as the kidney.
Yeah, it can also be used for low oxygen environments. So if there's really low oxygen, the two hearts kick in, and suddenly it's pumping around enough blood to get enough oxygen around your body. That's twice the amount of oxygen. So it's, that's a good upgrade. That is a good upgrade.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't complain about a second heart.
Yeah. There are some weirder ones. But a lot of these early ones are to strengthen the body so they can become a fully fledged Space Marine. So we're going to ignore Primaris for now, because that just complicates things. So the second organ they get implanted in them is, if you look at the picture, it should show you where they are. I don't actually know off the top of my head. It's called the Osmodula.
Let me zoom in a little bit more.
Where is the Osmodula? Number 2. So, yes. So that is in the chest.
Okay. What's that?
Right, so this is a... I just want to check the recording. I don't want it to happen again, Pulp. Yeah, we're good. This is a small but complex tubular organ. And it secretes hormones. This is how they're strengthening the body. And it's...
Just roiding out? Like
pretty
crazy?
much.
Okay.
But generated inside the body. Like, this is space magic, so this is, like, roids times 1,000,000. Like, this is proper, like, gene engineering at the most, like, infinitesimal scale. But nobody knows how it works. They just do the thing because that's how it works. So this affects the ossification of the skeleton and encourages bone formation to absorb a ceramic-based chemical, which I'll put into their diet as they're like eating. So it goes through their body and it processes
that would hurt.
these ceramics. Oh yeah, like becoming a Space Marine It is so
like
fucked up.
pure agony.
Pure agony. They are indoctrinated as well constantly. They rewire the entire way they think. They don't think like humans. So most Space Marines don't know who they were, who their family were, none of that. That is just wiped, and you are now a Space Marine. That is all you know about.
So nuts. I mean, like, because after what you just said about, it's considered a huge honor, it's like, God, being like a...
Well, these things, as horrific as they are, these are to get you ready to get the stuff to become a Space Marine. You're not a Space Marine yet. You're like
you're not there yet. There's still more steps to go, kiddo.
We're trying to strengthen your body so when we make you a Space Marine, you don't instantly die. Oh, by the way, the success rate is so low. It's like single-digit percentages. It's really low.
How many Space Marines exist then?
Hundreds and thousands. There are at least 1,000 chapters which have 1,000 Space Marines.
So that means that's a lot. That's a lot of dead kids.
Oh yeah. But there are even more standard humans. Like, humanity is winning, for want of a better word. Like, humanity are the biggest faction in Warhammer 40k.
Okay.
But there are billions of worlds. We're
so
talking.
we got kids to spare. There's enough to go around.
Imagine the galaxy.
Okay.
Imagine how many planets are in the galaxy.
And put billions of people on each one. Okay.
Yeah. There are, mutants and aliens, and then you've got the whole warp stuff. But yeah, there are so many people. That's why human life has no value. It's all about piety.
Who cares if you're rolling the dice on the success rate? It's like, hey, the few successes are worth it, I guess.
So this thing that promotes bone growth and starts processing all the ceramics that are put into their diet makes their bones grow longer.
Oh.
This is agony, yeah?
Yeah. Oh.
So it's reinforcing the bones, it's making them stronger, thicker, bigger in every possible way. A Space Marine is like 8-9
That's
foot
intense.
tall.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah. It's like 2 years for that to start to increase, and all their bones, and also the rib cage fuses together, and it creates a bulletproof resistant
like a breastplate,
bulletproof interlocking plates. So the whole rib cage just fuses together to become this.
So it's literally a breastplate.
Ossified breastplate. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Literally, yeah, exactly. Now
literal than that.
This might affect their lungs, but don't worry, we'll get to that. So
you get new ones.
That was phase 2. And don't forget, this is happening to children that are between 10 and 12 years old. Phase 3 is the, I don't know how to say that, the
Poor kids are already dealing with growing pains.
While this is going on, they're still being Clockwork Orange indoctrinated child soldier stuff.
That's intense. Okay, go on.
Well, they need to also root out any actual heresy of chaos taint, because that's what's going to destroy the universe's chaos. So they're making sure that they're good as well, because they don't want to give all this power to someone who is...
Can't have chaos in the taint.
You can't... yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in 40k lore, let's go.
Yeah, it's all true. The thing about lore is it's all true, and it all might not also be true either. It might be false. It might be lies. People might be mistaken. We don't know. We can just take some things as facts, and some things are probably correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, the third phase, the Biscopia, this is a small circular organ inserted into the chest cavity, and this releases hormones. So this is for muscle growth. This is pumping every organ in your body and making it more stronger and preparing again your body for the next implants. Basically, every implant.
Human growth hormones.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes, every implant is essentially making you ready for the next one. Makes you a bit stronger because, like I said, the success rate pretty low. So they go one at a time. Here, second heart, you can probably survive a bit more now. You've got 2 hearts. Then you get the bones. To strengthen, and then you start getting the hormones to strengthen your organs and stuff.
A lot of this is like, side note, a lot of this is hitting me a lot harder than it did last time because since the last time we tried recording this, my arm broke.
Surgery.
I had surgery on my arm and my bone, and I had my tendons worked on, and I've had bone. I have a plate. For anybody who doesn't know. So like a lot of this, like this instinctive reactions, like I know what it feels like now, just on like a minor scale. So this just like, so now I'm trying to amplify it in my head so I can understand.
I mean, that's correct. This is supposed to be horrific.
Yeah.
Having good times. I mean, you can't be a space marine because in the law, I'll say currently, because things have changed in other things, but I don't think they'll change for this. But currently in the law, only males can be space marines. It's to do with the hormones in their body, and that has been reinforced by Games Workshop. Not like really recent, but fairly recently. That's been reinforced.
That it's just primarily males.
It's only males, not even primarily. Only males. So
no girls allowed.
No girls allowed.
Sorry, ladies, you're not in this boys' club.
You might not want to be, but at the moment, as it stands, all Space Marines are male. All of them. That's not true with the Adeptus Custodes, the golden ones, which has changed very recently. Right, so this is circulatory, right? So the hemoglobin content of the subject's blood is increased by this organ. It produces more, basically. So it's more efficient to carry oxygen around. That's why, I mean, this is just explanation for why the art looks so mental and how red Space Marine blood is. It is hyper oxygenated.
Oxygenated, yeah. That makes sense.
This also helps for, that's right, more surgery!
Oh, yay!
Okay, we've got
surgery.
More surgery! Right, so, we're coming up on, you know, no, this is still adolescence, but this can be put in a bit older. So they're not 10 anymore, they might be teenagers.
Oh, so they've been dealing with this for years.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's say 3 years. They've been basically having surgery. Aspirants are conditioned and trained. If they're not on the surgery table, they're training, or they are being not mind wiped, but programmed. Yes. Astartes must be male. Gene seed is only compatible with male hormones and genetics. So the gene seed, that's further on. So all this could happen to women, but they can't take the gene seed. Oh, by the way, that gene seed. Yeah, gene seed is grown within Space Marines. So it's actually homo. What's the word? There's no women involved in growing new Space Marines. They're not gay. It's just they grow the seed in their body. They extract that seed and put it into another one to make another Space Marine. But that doesn't happen yet. Actually jumping.
That's how they eliminate the need for women?
Well, it's not the need. It's that it doesn't, at the moment, as far as anyone knows, work on women. Which is something to do with hormones.
Ah. Okay.
And they probably tried because they just want soldiers, right? Anyway, so that's the blood one. It also serves to monitor and control the actions of the phase 2 and 3 implants. So that would be the osmundula and the biscopia. So that also regulates some of that, so it doesn't go out of control, because they've grown all the bones now and all the muscle stuff, and it just keeps it in check. Unless they get injured, then that stuff can be drawn upon as well. You know, if they break an arm, it can like Space Marines heal really fast because all these organs work together and can turn other ones.
In there. They got the adamantine bones.
Yeah, well, they can just like it's that thing that makes their bones stronger with ceramics is shut down. It's not working right when it's to the size it wants. So this one can also go, hey, stop now. No more of that. But then if it's injured, it can go, okay, you can go on, and stuff like that.
Okay. Right.
The Larraman's organ. So this is basically white blood cells.
Okay.
So this is all about the healing. If they get a cut, it'll like scab up almost instantly, and the scar itself will knit together. It's just hyper white blood cells, basically. That's what that one produces.
Okay.
So
not bad.
To
phase.
Phase 6. This one's really cool, and it would be well useful. So this is actually into the back of the brain, and it's really small. It's the size of a pea, and it's the circadian rhythms is what it affects. So it changes the body's response to sleep deprivation. If a Space Marine is deprived of sleep, this kicks in. And it can allow a Marine to remain awake, and at the same time it switches off parts of the brain that aren't currently needed, so those can rest and not degenerate. And it can basically keep it doesn't replace sleep, but it can make a Space Marine, like, they need little sleep, not as much, but they do need to sleep. But it can keep shutting things down and make them stay awake for longer and longer, because some wars take a long time. They've been fighting wars for 10,000 years, you know? So, keeps them awake. It can also, when they are sleeping, turn on parts of the brain to make them more aware of their situation, so they can't be ambushed.
Okay.
Kind of like a cat, I suppose?
Dude, that'd be sick.
But yeah, it means that Space Marines don't need any more than 4 hours of sleep a day, and potentially, with all the things shutting down, can go 2 weeks. There have been instances where they've gone longer, but they can stay awake and still be a functional soldier for 2 weeks without sleep. That would be well useful. Think how much
that could be useful, actually. I was just thinking that.
It's no replacement for coffee, but... Alright. Okay, so the next one is the Prionor. Is phase 7. It's a pre-stomach that can neutralize poisons or indigestible food.
What?
Yeah. It's not... You know, like cows have 2 stomachs?
Yeah.
It doesn't...
Oh, they're like cows?
But, well, no, because in this organ, it
so
doesn't...
You can't milk a Space Marine.
So I'm just trying to get the thought of milking a Space Marine out of my head.
You mentioned cows.
I did, but I don't think I implied you should milk them.
You never know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't actually digest food. It's kind of like decontamination. So they could potentially eat anything and not be poisoned by them.
Okay.
Yes. And it can also isolate. Like, if they ingest poison, it can actually isolate that and keep it in the body.
Oh.
Which will be useful later. So now we're rocking up on about 16 years old, and it's the omophagia. This is kooky space magic, okay?
Okay. Oh, okay.
This implement... it's so fucking weird. It's in the spinal cord, but it's actually part of their brain. And they can taste and eat things, and they can read or absorb genetic material from what they're eating. And in some instances, gain the memories of a person. Maybe they eat a person's blood or something. Or there's they've just defeated an enemy, take a bite. They can learn their memories by eating them.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, the Blood Drinkers version of this is a little bit hyperactive.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
we're cannibals now.
Yeah, no. Vampires. The blood angels are basically space vampires.
It's cannibal light.
Some of them get the red thirst and just need to kill and drink blood.
I mean, that's what it does.
And they're on the side of good. They're on the side of the.
They're the good guys.
The good guys.
Fair enough.
So next one is a multi-lung. Do you know what that does?
And it sounds like you have multiple lungs.
Yeah, it's
4 of them.
Yeah, basically, it's extra lungs, which can actually close off the other lungs, and they can breathe more efficiently in low oxygen or like gas clouds, poison atmospheres. They can even breathe underwater for a bit with these lungs.
Oh, who needs gills?
You don't need gills, you just need an extra pair of lungs, apparently. Which also these lungs probably help them breathe with their ossified fucking chest plate.
That's, yeah.
Chest plate is supposed to expand, but theirs is fused together with ceramics now,
So how would that would be painful to breathe then?
Well, extra lungs.
Where do you keep those? Like, do you put them next to your kidneys?
I think they go directly behind the lungs. Let's have a look. Does it say? Because we might not know.
It just like kind of has a square or rectangle, so it's kind of signifying where it might be.
I think it's right next to the other lungs. So 4 lungs, 2 hearts. Right. Like some of these are like, okay, like that is future stuff that I don't understand, and other things are just space magic, like eating people. So the next one is an oculobe. It's in the base of the brain. It's for visual stuff. So they can see in the dark, essentially. They can see a lot further. They've got like superior vision in every way, and this is the implant that does that. And it can also, even though their suits do a lot of protection for them, their eyes, like if they, when you get one of those big explosions and they say it scorches your retinas and stuff, their actual eyes can adjust so they would still be able to see. So a flashbang wouldn't be very useful on a space marine.
Oh, that's a shame.
Their eyes would just go shing, shades, basically shades.
I'm very jealous of that. I'm very sensitive to the sun, so
yeah. I can't see too great at night in night vision. It's really bad. So that would be great.
Yeah, I'm during the days where I kind of like if there's sun out, it's rough. The light eyes.
So the next thing. So this is still 6. This is phase 11. It is. Did I put the other one? I don't know. So this is Lyman's ear. Lyman's ear, I think it's called. They replace their ears with a better ear that can single out frequencies. It can focus in on a single voice. If there's a crowd speaking, they can naturally just listen to one person in that crowd.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's sick.
And also deafening explosions. Like the eyes with the light. It can like calm that.
Yeah.
Does that with the ears as well. Or they could hear fucking miles away by tiny, minute things, which is pretty cool.
That's really sick, actually. I want that.
You want that one?
I think I'd go
for the eyes one because my ears.
The eyes might be. It's a toss up for eyes and ears. I will actually guess eyes for me because I have really shitty eyes. So.
Oh, do you?
My hearing's actually pretty decent.
Oh, okay. Go for the eyes then. Get her on the table, lads.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's so lovely. I'm sure none of the implements they used to do this are rusty, and 1,000 years old at least. I'm sure it's fine.
That's for future me to worry about.
Right.
That's for when I'm in recovery to worry about.
You might need the other things to make sure these work.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so...
Aw, rude.
What?
I said that you need the other things for it to work. It's like, that's rude. No.
I mean, you just might die from the surgery alone.
That's true.
Like, even these enhanced beings who have all this shit injected into them still die on the operating table before they get this stuff. Like, at every stage, you're getting a filter of people just dying. And they don't always die. Sometimes it's just understood that they're not going to be able, like, it's not working. They're not going to be turned into Space Marines. And those will either be just killed to get out of the way. They might become chapter serfs to serve the chapter. They might be lobotomized and turn into robotic servants.
That's nice.
Have you played Darktide?
I did play Darktide. I didn't get very far in it.
Okay. Did you ever heal?
Did I? I think I did.
There is a torso of a man with, like, robot-y bits and stuff. And like, that's a servitor. And hopefully they are fully lobotomized. Sometimes they miss some bits.
Sometimes they miss.
So, in Warhammer 40k, AI is not allowed. It is just bad. It is against no one wants AI because of what happened in the past, which they don't really remember. They just know that AI, we don't have that. It's against our religion. So, to get around that, they take control of the brain. They wipe the brain, lobotomize it, hopefully, and then send it basic instructions. You might get a servitor that just opens a door and closes a door. You can get more complex ones that can run targeting consoles and things like that. But sometimes they don't get it all out. And
sad.
inside this program to open the door for, I don't know, 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, they're still alive in there, and they have no control over their body, thoughts, or anything. That's why you might hear when you're getting healed is, please kill me, from the servitor that's healing you. Because he hasn't been done properly.
Oh my god, that just... You know, I didn't know that I don't know if I remember, like, being... I think I did. I had to have healed. But, you know, since a lot of the lore was going over my head, because I was playing it because a friend of mine really likes of Warhammer. And I don't know. Oh, man, I probably thought he was cute. And now I feel really sad.
That's a servitor. Warhammer is not called grimdark for nothing. It is pushed to such extremes that it goes all the way around to hilarious again.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's so dark you can't help but laugh.
But in universe, it's all played straight, as this is how it is. But we know.
It's just family-friendly fun.
All right, let's rattle through a couple of these. The Susan membrane, it's implanted above the brain, and then it merges with the whole thing. But it needs constant chemical therapy and training. But what this does is that can put the Space Marine to suspended animation. It can basically just put the body in stasis. We don't really know how long they can be put into stasis, but they're like, oh, I am, a billion light years away from any kind of help, and I'm stuck here. So they just go into stasis, and they can only be brought around by apothecaries who can undo all that stuff. It's supposedly for a year, maybe a couple of years. The oldest surviving was a Dark Angel named Brother Silas Eyre, and he was revived after 567 years in stasis.
Oh.
You know, like those...
It's a long time.
They're like bacteria. Like, you can just go into a stasis, and then, like, maybe it's in ice, and then it gets thawed, and then it just turns on again. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Huh. That's pretty neat.
So the next one. Okay,
I don't know what to say to that one.
We're gonna talk about.
It's not like cryostasis.
But like it's supposed to be for a couple of years. But yeah, we don't know how long it'll work. Like it just stops and then it can be brought round again. I'm not sure if it cocoons them. I'm not entirely sure if there is much info, but it's basically
there's not much cocooning.
Suspended animation, and Space Marines are basically always in their suits. They rarely take off their suits of armor, which can keep them alive itself anyway. So,
are they like super mauled and ugly under their armor?
I mean, they're grizzled, roided out war veterans, so. But it takes a lot to scar a Marine because of some of the things they've had implanted. Like their scars can almost be invisible depending on how badly it's done. Like injury to a Space Marine isn't much. You've kind of got to destroy that Space Marine. And you've got to get through not only their armor, but also...
With how much effort they're putting into them, I would imagine so. Like you want to have an extended warranty on that bitch. Yeah,
no, I mean, in law, they are just the wrecking crews. Like they put out damage and they can take damage. They're not immortal, they're not perpetuals, but it takes a lot to bring down a Space Marine. In the board game, that can change. On the tabletop, that because it's got to be a balanced to a degree game. But they're beefcakes. They're meaty beefcakes that can put themselves back together. Yeah.
There you go.
The next one is called the Melon Chromatic Organ. And this is it controls the amount of melanin in skin. So if they are like at high level of sunlight, they don't sunburn, their skin will just like go black. So it will reflect more sunlight. It does it with radiation mostly to try and keep out that radiation. There are actually a chapter of Space Marines called the Salamander. This organ isn't working correctly, and their skin is jet black, like charcoal black.
Okay.
So if you see a green Space Marine, with really really dark like coal. Not like, dark skin, not like that, like coal. That is a salamander because theirs isn't working properly. While these are all going on, they're constantly getting chemical treatment, hypnotherapy, indoctrination, and physical training. Like this is their lives. We're still only about 16 years old, I think. So
16?
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't reached full maturity. Space Marines can live hundreds of years old.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, with all this work, I would hope so. Because it would be kind of a waste to put all this effort in for just 20 years of service.
Yeah, no, this hundreds of years for sure. As far as I know, most of them die of unnatural causes. I don't know of we do know that old age does exist for Space Marines. Because in something,
but it's so far in the down the road,
and most of them will die in battle anyway.
I would imagine it would be better to die in battle for them, not just because of the indoctrination aspect, but can't imagine what do you do with yourself after that? If all this, if that's all you know.
So there is something called Dreadnoughts. So if a Space Marine it gets so severely injured in battle, which as you can tell is a lot. That they can't be fixed, they get interned into a Dreadnought. So it's usually maybe just the head or the brain, maybe a torso, maybe a little bit of an arm, and they are interred into these Dreadnoughts.
Oh.
So they can continue to fight.
You gotta use for the rest of your existence any part of your fiber, any piece of you will still... Oh. Now,
a lot of Dreadnoughts in chapters are ancients. There are Dreadnoughts around still from 10,000 years ago when the Emperor was not on the throne, was up and about. So, They're ancients, but it is definitely torture because most, not all, but most dreadnoughts are... It's technology that they don't know how it works, right? Most of them are shut down and then turned on to fight. So from that point, probably all they know is the battlefield. And every time they're woken up, probably everyone they've known up till then is probably dead. It is very unusual for them to have long-running friendships because by the time they're woken up, maybe everyone they knew before is just been killed in battle. Those are for the exceptional Space Marines, so it's not like everyone.
Wait, say that one more time.
Which bit?
The last thing you said.
It's not every Space Marine. These are exceptional Space Marines.
These are exceptional ones. Okay, I didn't hear that part.
Exceptional super soldiers, there are exceptions that are even more exceptional, and those would be because it'd be a great loss to the chapter, right?
So, and that's why they insist on keeping them around using dreadnoughts and shit. Okay, that was what I missed. I'm sorry about that.
Some Space Marines think of it as an honor because they can continue to serve. Some of them think it's... I mean,
that's all they know, right?
Torture.
So that's...
There are some chapters which aren't of the original 10 that, which we'll get into at some point, that even though they do have some dreadnoughts, if they're dying on the battlefield, they would say something like, "Let me rest. I have served." But there is a phrase called, "Even in death, I still serve," because just chuck him in a dreadnought, keep him
just
going.
Put him in a dreadnought. Oh my god, it's so dark.
A robot with a human brain in it that's been around for 10,000 years. Those exist in this universe.
But there's no consciousness in them, right?
No, they are still them. They are still them. They're not like servitors. They're not lobotomized. They are just in these giant suits. God. Let me find you a picture of a dreadnought.
Yeah, I want to see this.
But that sort of box area where the head is, it's a casket type thing where the remains are, and they're all hooked up into this machine and they can control it. But they can't ever feel again, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
That one's a particularly venerated one. It's pretty old. It's got a lot of extra filigree on it. And that's a box note. That's my favorite type of dreadnought. The Primaris have new ones, which is cool, but I just like this boxy, ridiculous boy with his head.
I actually like this one a lot, too. I'm like staring at him. He's kind of cute.
The Redemptor.
I mean, he's probably terrifying to like come across, but it's kind of cute.
Let me show you a Redemptor as well. These are the more modern ones, but the box notes are still around because, thousands of years old. These are the newer sculpts.
So they don't have the head on the newer ones?
It's not. The older ones don't always have a head.
Oh, okay.
There are some that you can see their ossified skeleton on the outside.
Ew.
There are some that are completely closed off. There are some that have like a helmet.
Dude, I put glass box. I want to see everything.
Well, they can because they are completely wired into this machine, so all the sensory information for the battlefield is taken in, targeting, knowing what's around you. Like they have this is a walking tank controlled by a person that can decimate squads of enemies.
Yeah, at this point, just put it on full display. Let's go. I want to see all the gears, all the wires, all the electrodes, everything. Go in, baby.
All right.
Glass box.
Let's hammer through a couple of these. We just did the skin. An olytic kidney.
Yeah.
It's a special kidney. It's...
Oh, now we're on to kidneys.
Right, yeah.
They get special kidneys?
So you know how resistant with the stomach that Space Marines are to poison, ingesting it? If it goes into the bloodstream, this will process some poisons, but particularly virulent ones. It can shut the body down, which makes the Marine unconscious, and then at high speed will circulate all the blood through.
Yeah.
But in general, it just monitors the circulatory system and makes sure the other organs are working properly. The next one's pretty funny. Neuroglottis. It's kind of cool. So they're, I said they do space magic and they can eat someone and learn their memories.
Yeah.
They can also put something in their mouth and tell what the chemical makeup is of the thing.
Kind of neat, actually.
That's kind of cool, right? So they can even use it to track a target by taste.
So it's like a hound dog. Like instead of using their sense of smell, they're using their sense of taste and. Kind of neat.
It is kind of cool.
That's actually kind of neat.
The next one.
It's kind of gross, but
I mean, it is good. Like this is absolutely
it's grody.
ridiculous. It is. The next one is.
I mean, I think at that point, like, I don't think you really care.
No, they are probably at this point. They are probably so indoctrinated that they are trying so hard to get through this because they want to serve the emperor.
Yeah.
I love it, though. What's the next one? The mucranoid. The mucranoid. Now, Space Marines don't have any control over this one.
Okay.
But it can make the Space Marines sweat a substance that can coat their skin, and they are then resistant to extreme heat and cold. It can even provide protection in a vacuum.
How would that work?
It coats their skin. It coats their skin.
What?
You know, they've got all these lungs, so like they can actually fight in a vacuum. This particular one can only be triggered by an outside source, so an apothecary would basically have to turn this one on, like injections or something like that.
What does it get coated in?
It's just
Scales?
It's just a substance, like a goo that will harden around.
Oh, it's all membraney and gooey.
Yeah. It's kind of gooey.
I was
it
hoping
sweats
it would
out
be
their pores.
scales.
But yeah, they can fight in a vacuum. Probably not for a huge amount of time, but they can.
Slimy.
Yeah, I mean, there are stories, I can't think of the specific Marines, but you know that stasis thing? That Marines have been fighting in space with this coating and then gone into space in space.
Still not cocooning.
And then, well, this is more cocooning because the mucus.
Yeah. There has to be like some kind of like cocoon.
Yeah, so this is more of a cocoon, although it's probably a bit gooey, so they can still move about and stuff. And yeah, they could be picked up, just scooped up from the vacuum for 100 years, let's say. Boom. Get you back up. You're sorted.
You're all membraned, you're fine.
You're membraned, it's good. Right, Belcher's gland is two identical glands, either implanted into the lower lip or into the hard palate. And this can, you know that thing they've got that can isolate poisons and keep it there?
Mm-hmm.
So this can process that, and it actually makes Space Marines spit venom.
Okay.
So they could poison people.
Cool.
It's also vaguely acidic, so it could burn through stuff. There have been uses where they have tried, like if they're trying to get into a place, the big metal wall, that they have melted parts of the wall with their spit to get through. So it can melt through metal. If a Space Marine spits in your face and their Belcher's gland is working, it would melt your face.
It's actually, that would be kind of handy.
Yeah, that'd be useful. It's just like,
that'd be useful.
The Night Lords use this quite a lot.
They could spit it? Ew. So I use a lot of acids, like on my face and stuff. So I gotta do for my proper skincare. And like, if you ever get like anything with like a little bit of acid, it's like super sour and nasty. So I'm just like, ugh.
You're probably not using this stuff. This will
No, it's probably like battery acid or some shit.
Yeah, but with enough time, they can eat through metal with it. So that's pretty cool.
That's hot.
All right. One of the most important is called the progenoid gland. Now this is coming.
Gland.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is coming up towards the end of a Space Marine's rebuilding, and this is what grows the gene seed inside.
The gene seed. Okay,
yes.
This is where this comes into play.
We're starting to get to the point where these are more successful now. When you get to this point, it's more likely you're going to survive the entire process. So the progeny gland, there's 2 of them. There's one in the neck and one in the chest cavity.
All right.
These are very important to chapters. I'll get into that in a minute. But this grows the gene seed. Now, as the gene seed, it takes like 5 to 10 years to mature inside the body. But as it does, it takes all the genetic information from all the organs that have already been put in. And then they use this. One of them is then taken out and used to make more Space Marines. All their organs and stuff are made from what is grown inside the progeny. So it's homogen.
Okay.
Like, this is how they reproduce. They grow the gland inside themselves, and that's a new one.
The boys' club, this is how they reproduce via gene seed.
Yeah, so the one in the chest is then taken out, and then that's put into storage, and then that makes new Space Marines. Now, an apothecary, which is kind of like the medic of the Space Marine, will, like, almost beyond all costs, try and get the remaining gene seed out of a Space Marine, because that is the future of the chapter.
Okay.
So if a Space Marine falls, an apothecary will come in and just extract the gene seed, so they can make. It's very, very important to keep their numbers up, right? So they get enough to replace for one, but if they want to grow, if they lose it like a large amount and they want to grow, they need all this extra gene seed.
Okay.
These gene seeds as well, examples of these are sent back to Terra, which is Earth, the central place where the Golden Throne is of humanity, where they're checked over to make sure there's no taint, no problematic mutations. It's to make sure everything's good.
No chaos in the taint.
No chaos in the taint. And yeah, so it takes all the information from these other organs. So all Space Marine chapters are their own thing. Like any mutations or organs not working and things like that will go into the gene seed. So they're all the same type of Space Marine. They're not just like automatons. They all have their own thoughts. They're warrior monks. Some of them are poets. They're actually encouraged to create art or make things to widen their understanding, which will make them a better soldier and things like that. Okay. So they're not like just, oh, yes, sir, no, sir. They are
they're not just soldiers. They could still have personalities and likes and dislikes.
But their personalities will lead into their brother Space Marines of the chapter, because they've got all that DNA it's nature, nurture. Their nature is to be like everyone else, but their nurture is that they are individuals, although they can't remember who they were before. I mean, they were 10 years old when it started.
I mean, that's negligible at that point. You would assume. You're not a person when you're in 10 organs. Jesus Christ. In the Warhammer universe, you're not a person until you're past 10 years old.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they started at 10, and then they finish at 18, whilst
So you're not a person until you're 18 years old.
Well, you're not a Space Marine. It's about 18 when it finishes. Up to this, they will become scouts. Like, they will be part of the army scouts a bit quicker. They don't wear full armor. And the reason for this is because of the phase 19, the last thing that is implanted into them is called the Black Carapace. Now, you've seen that big-ass heavy armor, right?
Yes.
If you just put a person in there, you're not going to be elegant. You're not going to be moving around. Like, it's going to be hard to move in that armor, even though they are giant super soldiers. So, this one is a little bit messed up. It is a film of black plasteel. I'm sure you can imagine what that might be. And it's implanted directly beneath the skin of the Space Marine's body, everywhere. It basically replaces. It's another skin, a second skin almost, but on the inside. And it's got it creates ports so it can Space Marine can interface with its armor. Space Marines are ridiculously fast. They can move at like 70 kilometers an hour, I think. Pretty fast. It's like ridiculous how much they can move about in this giant heavy armor, because this is really thick plate armor, right? But all these implants allow them to interface with it and move around. It's also it's hardened. All these neuro bundles are fed. This is probably one of the most painful, but bundles of neuro wires are fed into their muscles, into their spinal cords, anything. It's just run throughout the body, so they are at one with their armor. This is why Space Marines are almost always in their armor, because it is the same as you and I moving about like completely naked as they are moving around. Anything. Yes.
They're just...
Absolutely. And then they stop becoming a scout because now they can wear the full armor, and you are a full Space Marine.
Hell yeah. It only took years of agony.
8 years of psycho-indoctrination, chemical therapy, hormonal and organic implants into your body until you are molded into...
All natural, baby.
And...
I was born like this.
As the Emperor said, "They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay, I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategy, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my Space Marines, and they shall know no fear." Side note, Space Marines don't feel fear at all. Like, literally don't feel fear. With all
I mean, they've been through a lot worse. What's the worst that can happen?
Hypnotherapy. Absolutely zero fear on a Space Marine. And that is how you make a big badass Space Marine.
Not too bad. Yeah,
Thoughts?
Just a little nip and tuck here. You're born this way, baby.
I think the one that got you was the bone one, the lengthening of bones.
The bone one, that one got me because, so legitimately, I one time, it's like totally off topic, but it is like relevant. When I learned about the bone lengthening surgery, that's a real thing that exists, and I didn't know that it was until my mom watched a Lifetime movie once. And it was about this girl who has who had severe dwarfism, and I guess she got it. I don't remember too much, just that she had it. And when I was a little girl, I was like, I want that. And my mom tried to explain to me, that's going to be one of the most painful things that you could ever experience, and it will put you in pure agony. It's so... Now having broken my arm, and now I know what kind of agony that is. Knowing that they're fully jacking out.
Mom was right.
The skeletal structure. That's next level. That's atomic pain. God damn.
Anything that was brought up that you're like, oh, I want to know more about that?
No, none of these, because I mean, I think a lot of it's going to be explained. When you get it more into detail, because you already mentioned that some of the chapters. Yes, yeah, that's right. Some of the chapters, they lean more into some of these mods. And that's what I'm more interested about, are which chapters lean into which mod, and why do they choose to do that? That's what I'm more interested in.
Well, we've got the basics down, so we can start going into more stuff, more specifics with things like that, for sure.
Cool.
Thank you for watching, patrons, and thank you for supporting us. If there is anything that you would like Pulp to learn about, let us know.
Tell me which chapters are the most interesting first.
They'll say the wrong ones.
No, okay, that's true. They'll say the wrong one. They'll say
everyone will say.
Sorry, patrons, but you're wrong.
Yes, everyone will say their own one is the best, or their favorite one is the best.
So so we can kind of get like a little bit of a preview. What's your favorite?
Of the Loyalist, the original 10, it used to be the Blood Angels, the ones with the thing not working properly, so they drink a lot of blood. But I have really gotten into the Dark Angels recently, which are a dark forest green.
So angelic.
Well, Space Marines are the Emperor's Angels of Death. They were bred for war.
Oh.
A war that probably wasn't supposed to last 10,000 years, but what's he going to do?
The white scars sounds interesting.
The white scars?
Yeah.
There is some information about the white scars. Those there are some that aren't fleshed out as much as others. Like, others definitely have the lion's share of lore. But that could be interesting too.
Yeah.
And I think I have the last 3 we've spoke about. I have those painted.
Oh, really?
Well, I like painting.
Do you have them right by you? Let me see.
Yeah, I do.
I want to see.
Here is a white scar.
Oh yeah, that must have been a pain in the ass to paint, huh? Because it's white. Looks good.
Yeah, he's got some freehand on him as well. This is all freehand.
I like him. That looks really good. I'm not much of a painter. I don't have really steady hands. That looks sick.
Yeah, white is very hard to paint. I do also have...
For like dimensions and stuff, right?
Pardon?
For the dimensions and shadows and stuff.
It's hard. It's actually hard to highlight. So.
Oh yeah, highlighting. That actually makes more sense. And that's the Blood Angel?
And you got a classic Blood Angel there.
Look at this little gun!
Little? I made a kill team, so I did some test models of more metallic armor. Blood Angels.
I like the metallic. That's sick.
This is the metallic I actually ended up going with. It's a bit more metallic-y and shiny.
That looks nice. Nice. It adds a lot more dimension to it.
Yeah, so that was a kill team, and I've just gotten into these are the Dark Angels.
Ooh.
These.
Do they have grass on them?
Yeah, there's some tufts and some rock he's standing on there.
Do you have them, or do they come with that?
No, I did all that.
Yeah, that's a nice touch. I first thing I noticed, I was like, oh, look at the little terrain.
my other the ones that look a little bit like this was just a test model. It's just like little bits of stone and mud and stuff. But my actual kill team, they are like ankle deep in grass. It goes all around.
I like that. That's really sick.
Where's my focus thing? Nope, it was way out. There we go.
All right.
Yeah. So if you would like to me to teach Pulp about any particular thing, you know which one we're not doing, 40k fans. That's not happening. That doesn't really exist anymore. It was a one-off thing.
Which one?
No, you don't.
I don't need to know. That's how unimportant. Okay. Someone in the 40k, any 40k fans in the Patreon, just send me a message on Discord what he's talking about.
Don't do it. You saw how she was with the bones. That is problematic. I mean, it's chaos, but yeah. But yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was fun. I'm excited.
Thanks for
I'm
watching.
excited for the next episode.
Yeah. I don't know when that'll be. Yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see you soon. Bye.